Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back. Welcome back. So this is going to be part three of our trade, kind of player trade thing that we're building here. So in the last video, we made a window, and we made this one little button. So since then, I've just made more buttons, and then I just want to duplicate this real quickly. I made some more buttons, and on here, we're just going to say costs. So I don't know what the cost for these are, but this one here is. So, okay, so when we think about these are quote unquote, these are batches of resources, right? So let me run you through how this works. All right, so visible, false, and then we'll connect one of the other buttons. You'll see the steps. I'll show you the steps. So basically, we open the trade window, and if we have the commodities available, then we're able to do the things, do the stuff in the things. So, for example, oops. Okay, if I decide, I'll let me load here. I want to trade 1,000 cash with another player. Okay, there it is. And then I can press backspace, and now if another player comes by and they pick that up, or somebody activates it, boom! Now they get the cash. Or if I activate it, I get the money back. So similar with the same thing with the grease, except I didn't make it so you can drop yet. I haven't finished that part, and then it doesn't cost you any grease yet either. So that's what I'm just kind of working through right now. So you have to make sure that the tool is droppable. So you want to say can be dropped. And then we also want to make sure that that's the value. So long as you have, so the commodity amount, I'm not too sure what the commodity amount, I think I'm going to make it a minimum of 1,000 for the grease, because grease is a base commodity. So I want to make it so that you can at least trade that. And then, so that means what it's going to give at least 1,000 values like that. At least 1,000 when you consume it, and it's not going to cost very much. Because so what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to promote the trading of resources, not necessarily the promotion of trading of cash. You can trade the cash, and you will get other cash rewards. But the idea is to trade the resources to help your friends and all that kind of stuff, right? So it is going to cost, a little bit to make the resource. That is just a given that there has to be a cost of some kind. Plus, the player also needs to have the item. So basically what happens is you press the button, and then it fires to a server script, just like that. And then what we also need, though, is I need this. All right. And then we want to say minus 1,000. So now we have to make sure not only that the player has enough money, but that they also have enough of the commodity to spawn the object into the game. So just like that. So now what we have to do is we have to go back to the button, and we have to make sure that locked into the button, yes, it makes sure that we have at least that. And we want to say, let's see, for the OK cash, We want to say and. All right, we want to see this and then cash is greater than 100 because it's going to cost 100 to spawn it in. Otherwise, it just closes the window. So, I mean, that's basically that, right? So what we're doing now is we're connecting the values to a physically looking object or item in the game. So, I mean, that could be anything. For example, um, in this case, it's kind of a, trucking type game, right? So once we add fuel, um, maybe it'll be a jerry can, and you can pay to have a jerry can. You can give a little bit of fuel to the players or something like that. I haven't quite gotten there yet. Or if this was like a fantasy game that you're making, um, these could be representative of items that the player has to find, right? You have to find the wood, you got to find the iron. Then you come over to like a forge, and then you click on the button, and then this would kind of be like your forge, right? So this would say, okay, this is the cost, and this is the item that you're going to get. So then you press the button. Obviously, we're not going to get it because we don't have. I don't have 1,000 grease. I only have 70 grease. But so you press the button, and then voila! Now you have the sword, quote unquote. This is kind of how you do a system like that, where you give the player the item. Now, this doesn't save what's in the inventory. There is a way that you can get it to save in the inventory. I don't know if I'll add that to this game, but I do have a script in Blue Trucking City that I can use that I can convert over. I may have done a video about it, but I probably should. Maybe I'll do that next. We'll do inventory saving. Because what I do here is everything is on the server storage, and then I just say if you're a certain level, then you get these items, and that's all I'm doing. But when it comes to say a player crafting their own item, like a sword, that they could then add to later, you could make it more powerful by giving it bonuses to damage and stuff by adding more stuff to it, right? Just through values and stuff on the physical object itself. You do want the player to save that. You want it to save in an inventory. So there is a way. There is a way to do that. Well, anyways, that's basically that is the rundown. Now I just have to put out the estate fuel. I'm not too sure um, because it's really expensive. So the other thing we have to make sure that we are keeping up with the costs. So if we go to our factories, in this case, if we look at medium fuel, it's 40 for 10. So it's 4 to 1. Okay. So that basically gives us our cost, 4 to 1. So I might reduce that. And then same with the maximum. We're not going to, it's 8 to 1. So we're not going to need that much of it. So then, because it's going to cost a lot more, but the batches are going to be smaller also. Ooh, maybe that's right. So I haven't quite worked out that part of the system yet, where and how that's going to be consumed. Right now, it's just consumed virtually in your warehouse. So, and I mean, I guess that's basically it. So basically, I just have to determine what I want the cost of that to be. But it could be something like, what do we have here? We have a tire, right? So like this could be the object that we use to represent the medium real estate, right? So when you're trading, you got to trade a tire. I think it's funny. Let's see, where are we here? Yeah, so at this point in time, you can pretty much you can be creative with it because this is the object that we're cloning onto the player, which has all the trade information in it. And the object can look like anything. Just make sure it's a tool that the player can hold in their hand. And away you go. And then just make sure that it's droppable as well, so that way the player can trade if they want to. Yes, can be dropped, needs to be true, and then that way they can give it away. Yeah. So you might say like, well, it is kind of risky in the sense that if you just hold it in your hand, someone else can come by and just activate the prompt, and you would just lose the object. And that's part. I mean, that's part of it, right? So I would put a disclaimer on there because somebody might complain about that. I'm just thinking about that now. But it's not meant to be. It's meant, you kind of work out the deal beforehand, and then whatever, right? So the older people don't be exploiting younger kids in that way. Where are we here? Zoom. But that's one way, I guess, where it's vulnerable. Because when you equip it, the prompt turns on. I don't know. Maybe I can lock that down. Now that I'm thinking about it, there might be a different way. But yeah, anyways, that's going to do it for this short little video. That'll be part 3. I just wanted to show that. But we'll run through it one more time. Let's see where. Oh, yeah, we'll run through it one more time. So nothing much, really. Just we have our window. And then, of course, you need a remote event. So each button has to have its own remote event. And each button needs to have its own script on the server, which says, okay, this is what we need. Because the server script clones the item to the player. And then the script inside the item gives the resources to the player when it's consumed. And then when we press the button, it checks the local player who's creating the item to see if they're able to create the item. If they're able to create the item, they create it like that. And then the server script clones it like that. And then we can then, right, because anybody can come by right now and consume it while it's in my hand. Someone else can. So it's not really secure. It's not a secure form of trading. I suppose I could kind of work on that. But that's kind of part of it, right? That's sort of how it goes, I guess, when it comes to, in this case, because you have to activate the prompt, that's how it goes. It could be something different, though. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.